The Beach FM Business Lunch Show, brought to you by PlaceMakers Kapiti Horowhenua. Together we're building New Zealand.
Welcome back to the Business Lunch Show on Beach FM 106.3, and let's talk animals now. And let's welcome to the show from Levin Horowhenua Veterinary Centre, it's Nick Chalmers. G'day, Nick.
Hi.
How are you doing at this time, my friend?
Yeah, good. It's been quite busy at work, but we're trying to support everyone that we can.
Absolutely. Hey, it would have been, just like everybody, big shock when we went into level 4 lockdown. How did you guys situate in that with everything that you provide?
Yeah, so as an essential service, we still had to be able to provide service for animal welfare. So what we did is we had to split our teams up. So in case one of the teams did get coronavirus, that we had enough people that could actually step up and continue carrying on the essential service.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was quite a shock early on that when we suddenly went from a full crew in clinic to a skeleton crew.
Yeah, and a busy centre. Yeah, absolutely.
Very.
Well, quickly, Nick, we like to get people's stories on the show of where they come from and how they got into their industry. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how you became a vet?
Yeah, so I was initially going to look at do farm consultancy, and then one day I decided, no, I was going to be a vet. So applied for vet school, and after a few times I finally got in.
Outstanding. And how long ago was that?
So I finished in 2011 and have been working at Levin Horowhenua Vet since.
Absolutely. Oh, awesome stuff. Hey, mate, I've always loved going into that place. What's it like to be involved with that, the Levin Horowhenua Veterinary Centre? What's it like to work there?
Well, I've been there for 8 years, so it's a really good place to work.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. Hey, why I reached out this week is, as many of our listeners know, because I bang on it about it enough, I've got 2 beautiful German Shepherds at home that have become a bit reliant on mum and dad being at home over this time. So my thoughts are, how are they going to be once we all go back to work?
Yeah, so we've got sort of 2 distinct groups going on of animals. Some that are stressed out with lockdown because the kids are home the whole time. And then we've got those that we're predicting are going to get stressed as soon as we leave them.
Yeah. Well, we have a rugby field in our backyard, so we're quite lucky that we can go out with the ball. But our little one, the 18-month puppy, she has become very reliant on it, like it's a daily ritual, and she gets a bit whiny if we don't do it. So are there things that we can start watching out for, or start training ourselves to do differently before, as we build up to level 2, level 1?
Definitely. So it's all about sort of transitioning them back to normal life to make them cope better. So I know a lot of people have home offices at the moment and their pets right next to them. So part of what we're sort of encouraging is for a small amount of time each day that we actually remind them that they are pets and this is not the normal life. So putting them back outside or back in their kennel just for a short amount of time each day to remind them what the normal actually is. And then our thoughts are when we are starting to move back to work, and I know with Alert Level 2 in the future at some point, they're saying to still work from home if possible. We sort of encourage weaning yourself back into work, if obviously your boss allows it, so that you don't suddenly go from being at home with your pet in your office all day to suddenly not being there. So whether that's, working every second day at the office and the rest at home, is sort of recommended.
Absolutely. What kind of effects can it have on our animals once we go from being with them 24/7 to nothing?
So those stressed out ones that we're expecting to see with us going back to work, we tend to see sort of destructive behaviours. So digging holes in the backyard, trying to escape from the section, chewing at your back door, and pawing at the deck.
Wow. Okay. Definitely. Okay. Yeah. Those are definitely signs. Mate, we saw lots of stories around the world of people going into animal shelters and clearing them out so they had a companion during this lockdown. Was that a good or a bad thing?
I think for the animals, it's a great thing to actually not be in the shelter facility for extended periods of time. But for those animals, they don't know what the normal was in your household, so it's even more important to wean them back or wean them onto what the new normal will be.
And what kind of concerns have you seen out there? I know myself, like I look at Cena's claws and I'm like, oh, do they need a trim? And I'm always too scared to cut those nails. What kind of concerns have you got with people sitting at home and questions that you've been getting asked?
So we've been getting a broad range of questions, and while we've been on Skeleton Crew, we've had telemedicine going, so people are able to ring up and talk to us about those concerns, and we can sort of prioritise whether they're needed or not. The things that we have really been pushing is especially those puppy and kitten vaccinations, to keep those up, and we have been doing those through the lockdown.
Awesome. That's great stuff. Hey, lastly, mate, what does level 2 look like for you guys? I know you're essential service, you've been going all through, but is it still going to be skeleton crews? What kind of things do you have in place for your safety more than anyone's?
So that is something we're still working through. We are progressively opening up more and more services. So we've just started doing elective surgeries again. Obviously, they've been scaled back a bit. So we're still trying to work through that, but we hope that we can actually get a little more back to business as usual, although we're probably still going to be seeing a lot of us staff going around in personal protective equipment and probably distancing from clients.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, lastly, Nick, what I've got to ask this, like I do everybody else. What's the, and I probably know everyone knows the answer, but what's the most thing that you love about the job? Because I can imagine it have its hard times as well.
It definitely does have its hard times. What we love to see is the animals that get the biggest improvement from what we've done, and some of those will be, we've made a change and we've followed through that case for 4 to 5 years before we often have to make that tough call and go out and euthanize or do that in clinic. So the difference that we make is what keeps us going.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I've definitely learned a lot, and I'm definitely going to try and get that regular routine going before I do leave the house on a regular basis. So thank you so much. I hope our listeners picked up on something, and all the best with level 2, level 1, and I can't wait to get back and to see you guys smiley faces sooner than later.
Awesome, thank you. And look, if people are concerned about their pets or how they are going to cope with the lockdown, they can give us a ring and one of our telemedicine staff can talk to them and come up with individual plans if needed.
Brilliant. Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate your time.
Hey, not a problem. Thank you.